Well, that was Fergal Keane. The United Nations Security Council is currently meeting to discuss the UN's Palestinian Relief Agency, UNRWA, 2 days before that ban on the operation of the aid organisation in Israel is due to come into effect. So let's speak to Juliette Touma. She's Director of Communications for UNRWA. Juliette, welcome here to the programme. In the last hour or so, Israel's UN envoy has repeated again that Israel will cut all contact with UNRWA come Thursday. Your reaction to the restatement of that position?
This ban is going to have severe consequences on the people we serve across the occupied Palestinian territory. If it's implemented in full, that includes the Gaza Strip, but also the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem.
Do you think that there is any chance, with less than 48 hours to go, that this is not going to happen because the Americans supportive of Israel's position?
Look, like I said, the consequences are going to be dire in the absence of UNRWA. It is going to be the responsibility of the state of Israel as the occupying power to provide services to the people we're currently serving. As an example, 2 million people who rely on UNRWA's food assistance in Gaza, about 50,000 boys and girls who go to UNRWA schools in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, as two examples only.
Just tell me a little more then, in terms of what UNRWA is providing, the number of staff you have working on the ground, the amount of aid, even in recent days you've been able to get in, because if all of that stops, presumably all of that work has to come from elsewhere.
Yeah, so 60% of what has come in just over a week since the ceasefire started, Matthew, 60% was brought in by UNRWA. In terms of the staff that we have on the ground between the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, we have 17,000 frontline humanitarian workers and service providers. Teachers, doctors, shelter managers, people who deliver humanitarian aid, nurses, pharmacists. It's the backbone of a very large humanitarian operation.
You will know, and our viewers will know, that, of course, the Israeli parliament passed this law, passed this ban, saying there were UNRWA workers who had worked alongside Hamas. Do you dispute that fundamental claim?
We've done an investigation. We've terminated contracts of staff without even having the evidence. We've conducted an international review. And let me just be very clear. When I say we, it was the United Nations highest investigative body in New York, independent to UNRWA. The review was commissioned by the Secretary General of the United Nations. According to the review, UNRWA has the most robust systems in place when it comes to the adherence of the neutrality humanitarian principles. That applies to our staff and our programs as well.
Juliette Touma, thank you for taking time to speak to us. Thanks so much for joining us here on BBC News. Around the world and across the BBC, you're watching BBC News.